next part of the cell is nucleus. So nucleus is spherical and it is centrally located. Right? It is the central part of the cell. It is spherical and located centrally. And this nucleus is separated from the surrounding cytoplasm by a membrane called nuclear membrane. So nucleus is separated from the cytoplasm by a nuclear membrane. So this nucleus is separated from this cytoplasm by a nuclear membrane. So nucleus contains a centrally located body called nucleolus. So if we use a high magnification microscope, then we can see there is a small center body in the nucleus called nucleolus. Only under high magnification microscope, if we see the nucleus, we can see the central part called nucleolus, and we can also observe chromosomes. Chromosomes are nothing but genes, but these chromosomes are present or observed in the cell only when the cell is dividing, that is during the reproductive phase of the cell or during the cell is dividing. At that stage only we can see the chromosomes. So chromosomes are nothing but genes. So what is the function of these chromosomes? These chromosomes help in inheritance of traits. Inheritance of trait means carrying the characters from the parents to the offspring, from one generation to the next generation. So example, if you have brown hair, then one of your parents will definitely have a brown hair. So from your parent to you, the generation, the trait has been inherited. That character has been passed from your parent to you. So that is what the chromosomes or the genes do. They have nuclear material inside. The nuclear material known as DNA, RNA inside. So these chromosomes or genes help in inheritance of the characters and transfer of traits from one generation to another generation. And then chromosomes will be seen in the cell only when the cell is dividing or reproducing. So that is how the chromosomes are also present inside the nucleus. And this nucleus acts as the center of control for all the activities of the cell. So that is the reason it is known as control center of activities of the cell. And when this nuclear membrane allows the exchange of fluid between the cytoplasm and nucleus. The nuclear membrane is also like a permeable membrane which allows the exchange of substances between the cytoplasm and nucleus. So this nucleus is known as the control center of the activities of the cell. It's because it controls all the activities going on in the cell. And entire content of the living cell is known as protoplasm. So protoplasm means cytoplasm and nucleus together form protoplasm. This is the living content of the cell, of any cell, let it be animal cell, human cell or a plant cell. So protoplasm, when we talk about protoplasm, it means that it is the living part of the cell made up of cytoplasm and nucleus. And then there are two types of cells when we talk about anything in higher class also. Till you move to 9th and 10th standard, when we talk about cells, we will say prokaryotic cells, eukaryotic cells. So you must know what is a prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. Prokaryotes, example of prokaryotic organisms are bacteria and blue-green algae. So in these organisms, how is the cell? The cells have a nuclear material but without the nuclear membrane. There is no nuclear membrane covering in bacteria and blue-green algae. In the cells of these organisms, cells are having nuclear material. That means chromosomes and all other material, but there is no covering of nuclear membrane. Such type of cells are known as prokaryotic cells, and such organisms are known as prokaryotes. Bacteria and blue-green algae. Then what are eukaryotes? What are eukaryotes? So cells with well-organized nucleus and nuclear membrane. So the cells have both well-organized nucleus as well as the nuclear membrane. And those cells having well-organized prokaryotes, the cell have nuclear material, but there is no nuclear membrane covering. So that is about nucleus. Let's compare a few features of plant cells and animal cells. So first feature is cell membrane. Cell membrane is present both in plant cells as well as the animal cells. Cell membrane is the outermost covering of the cell. Cell membrane is the outermost covering of the cell, and cell membrane is responsible for giving the shape to the cell, right? Cell membrane is responsible for giving shape to the cell, and plant cells do not change its shape, whereas animal cells can change its shape. Next, coming to cell wall. Plant cell, in addition to the cell membrane, has an extra outer covering of cells known as cell wall. And the function of cell wall is protection against high pressure, temperature, wind and moisture. But this cell wall is absent in the animal cell. Animal cell only has cell membrane. Next is nucleus. Nucleus is present both in animal cells as well as the plant cells. In human cheek cells also we have the nucleus. Then is nuclear membrane. So nuclear membrane separates the cytoplasm and the nucleus, and it is a porous membrane, allows the transport of substances between the nucleus and cytoplasm. And nuclear membrane is present both in animal cells as well as the plant cells. Next is cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is present both in animal cells as well as the plant cells. So cytoplasm is a jelly-like, fluid-like substance. Jelly-like, fluid-like substance which holds the cell organelles in it, present both in plant cells as well as the animal cells. Next is plastids. So plastids are present only in plant cells. Plastids are nothing but colored bodies. So plastids are nothing but colored bodies which float in this cytoplasm, and plastids contain a green colored pigment called chlorophyll, which is responsible for photosynthesis in the plants. So plastids are nothing but green colored bodies which contain chlorophyll pigment. Chlorophyll pigment is present inside chloroplasts or plastids, and it is responsible for the green color and also for the preparation of food by the plant. So plastids are absent in animal cells. Then moving on to vacuole. Vacuoles are present both in plant cells as well as the animal cells. Vacuoles freely float in the cytoplasm. They are nothing but blank bodies. No much material is present inside them. But vacuoles are very much big and large in plant cells. Vacuoles are nothing but empty blank spaces or empty cavities like structures. So they are of very large size, big size in plant cells, whereas vacuoles are also present in animal cells, but the size of vacuoles in the animal cells is small. So plant and animal cells both have vacuoles, but plant have big vacuoles and animal cells have small vacuoles. So these are some of the differences of plant and animal cells, and thereby we complete this chapter. And in this chapter you have understood all the parts of the cells. You have understood what is a cell, and you have understood the classification, the variety of cells based on number, shape, size, etc. Then you have understood what is tissue, what is a group of cell, what is an organ, right? You have understood about the parts of the cells, the basic components of the cells, cell wall, cytoplasm and nucleus. And then we have also observed the comparison of plant cell as well as the animal cell. And we can observe any plant cell under a microscope whenever it is stained with green blue. Example, onion peel cells can be easily observed under a microscope, right? And human cheek cells, if you scrape the inner side of your cheek with a spoon very gently and observe it under a microscope, then you can clearly see the human cheek cells also. So this is about the chapter